I got you. Hostel is about these two American friends, Paxton and Josh, who are traveling across Europe with this friend, Oli. So they're traveling, and basically they're just, like, really insufferable, annoying Americans, and they're just looking to, like, sleep with foreign women and party. One day they meet this dude, Alexei, who's like, well, if you want the most beautiful women, you have to go to Slovakia. So, of course, they get on a train. On the train, they meet this weird Dutch dude who tries to, like, touch Josh's leg and make a move on him. They yell at him and he leaves. When they get to Slovakia, they get to this hostel that they're staying at, and they find that they are actually rooming with these two women, Natalia and Svetlana. So obviously they're like, oh, sick, we get to room with these two hot girls. Paxton and Josh end up going out with the two women to a disco and then sleeping with them later on. And while they're doing that, Oli leaves with another girl. But the next morning, he doesn't come back. So while Paxton and Josh are looking for him, they are approached by this Japanese woman who shows them a picture of her friend and Oli. And Oli also texts them with a picture of himself saying, I go home. Meanwhile, we, the audience, see what really happens. And we see that this is not a picture of Oli alive. It is a picture of his decapitated head. And we see that Yuki, the friend of the Japanese woman, is being tortured. So Josh at this point wants to leave, but Paxton is like, nah, dude, let's stay another night. So they stay another night with the girls, but this time Natalia and Svetlana drug Josh and Paxton. We see what happens to Josh first, and he wakes up bound in this dungeon-like room. And his captor? The Dutch man they met on the train. The Dutch man tortures Josh, including slitting his Achilles tendon so he can't leave, and then eventually kills him. Meanwhile, Paxton wakes up, and after he was drugged, he actually accidentally locked himself in a pantry. So he finds Natalia and Svetlana and is like, okay, what the fuck did you do to me, and where the fuck is Josh? And they're like, oh, we'll take you to him. They proceed to take Josh to this old dilapidated factory and show him Josh's mutilated body. And then Josh is taken captive and dragged to his own room as he passes rooms of other people being tortured. So Paxton is now bound by his captor, who manages to cut off a few of Paxton's fingers with a chainsaw. But then while coming at Paxton with the chainsaw, manages to actually fall and cut his own leg off with his chainsaw. So while this chaos is happening, Paxton actually manages to get free and kills his captor and escapes. Paxton finds his way to like this locker room type area, and at this point he's changed his clothes so he's not bloody or anything. And this other person he meets is this American dude who explains to him how this is an elite hunting club and you pay basically a shit ton of money to torture people, mainly tourists. And that guy's like, all right, I paid a bunch of money for somebody who's waiting for me right now, I gotta go. When Paxton goes to escape, he actually passes the room that same guy was in and finds him torturing the Japanese woman that he met in the hostel. I cannot show this full picture. Paxton ends up killing him and rescuing her. Paxton gets to a car and starts to flee, and while he's driving away, he sees Natalia and Svetlana, who are also with Alexei, so the three of them were working together the whole fucking time. And Paxton runs them all over and kills them. They end up getting to a train station where the woman ends up seeing how disfigured she is and jumps in front of a train. But Paxton gets on a train and escapes. But then he hears a familiar voice. And it's none other than the Dutch businessman, who he knows killed Josh. And Paxton ends up getting off at his next stop and cornering him in the bathroom and killing him. And then gets on another train and escapes.